All right, so what is it? What is this ETF that's different than what we've seen before?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's so narrow. I mean, you have an ETF here tracking almost like a single piece of legislation. That's never happened before. I think it shows how narrow and tied to the news cycle ETF launches are getting. Now, what this does is essentially what you would expect. It's going to go after companies that are taxed, have high tax rates, also exporters. It's going to equal weight them. Now, that sounds like a lot of normal thematic ETFs, but this is not your grandfather's theme product because it's actively managed and it's long short. And it's run by ex-Goldman Sachs guys, so they really thought this out, and they think it's probably to keep up with Trump, right? You've got to make sure you can change the holdings on a dime, depending on how the situation breaks out and what is said about who the winners and losers might be. So you see some of the stocks in there, and so I'd expect that you're going to see more ETFs like this, especially because the new head of the Division of Investment Management, the SEC, has said she wants to speed up the time that filings hit to when they get approved. So you could see more ETFs tied to basically news cycles. Yeah, well, that was my question. What are some other Trump-inspired ETFs that we've seen so far? Right. There's two others launching with this. Is a Democratic policies ETF and a Republican policies. Same deal, tracking stocks that would benefit. And the inspiration behind these two was the election cycle last year. They found that depending on who was up and down in the polls or what was said, a group of stocks would go up and down. The GOP, it's typically financials and aerospace and defense type stocks. With Democrats, tech, healthcare. Right, so those are two other ones, and they're different than MAGA. Now, MAGA is the one that launched 2 weeks ago, or a month ago, rather. Those are tracking stocks that are big GOP donors. So this is almost like a conservative version of an ESG fund by the companies that support your candidate. These new ones today are more just to make money.